Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddle It Up Films. Here we are again, guys. And if you notice the red on the forehead, the red on the nose, I was at the game. I was at that game, tied for the worst loss in home history in a game against a team that had only scored an average of 16 points a game, 64 total points on the season, and they come in, they put 44 on us. Depressing scene. Depressing scene. People filing out. I was going to take some video. I actually do have video of people filing out of the stadium just after the third quarter. So they went and, got some concessions, used the bathroom or whatever, come back from halftime, and just that quickly they were gone. Mass exodus in the M&T Bank Stadium. Never seen anything quite like it. So that's where we are as a franchise. But as usual, there's a lot going on, and as usual, we're going to keep it light. I got my family in here, but yeah, that's what happened with the. If you notice all the red there, and then when I could feel the heat like searing my face, I realized I had my sunglasses on, and I didn't want the extra bright white raccoon eyes. So then I took the sunglasses, put them on top of my head. It was a whole experience, but yeah, the experience itself was great. M&T Bank Stadium is as good as ever. The crowd was into it from the start, and the Ravens just kind of slowly sucked the life out of the crowd as the game went along. So rough go. Want to check into the chat to see who is in here, and I know who is in there because I see the chat scrolling. Chris, first one in as usual, TLC. Chris with a hey Jason, and the trademark. I think Chris's trademark, purple and black hearts. Your paso, my brasso. What is going on, Dwiz? It is great to see you. Thanks for all your support, man. Love the profile pic. Headphones on. Dwiz means business. The Linda J. There he is. Yes, there I am. Here I am, I should say. Dario saying good evening, everyone. Glad to have you in, Dario. We gave up 70 plays again last week, Dario. So, good news is on the way, though, I think. But a lot of it lies on coaching. So we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. And Rome. Rainy night greetings from Germany. No kidding. I did not know that, Rome. Yeah, okay. And as a matter of fact, the early weather report suggests rain on Sunday, some 10 to 20 mile an hour winds. So maybe that can help slow down the Rams offense here. But, West Coast team coming to Baltimore, a dome team coming to Baltimore. Didn't know you're from Germany. That is awesome. And of course, Heather. Hi, Jason, and hello to the football family. Heather was supporting me. I was on with the Vault today, did a film study on the blitzes. So that's a big topic. You guys know I've been talking about it. If you watch the show, been talking about that for a while. The Ravens actually had some success against C.J. Stroud when they did blitz. And the numbers were kind of alarming. I'll spell that out for us real quick. But it's just great to see everybody in here. Cosmonaut Project, of course, in there. Great show over on the Vault today. Thanks for checking that out, Cosmo. I really appreciate that. So, yeah. And, hey, Ivor Taurus, you're my guy, bro. You're my guy. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody in there. So, okay, let us get to the topic bar. Big news this week. The addition of Aloha Goman and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, CJ, GJ, both established players in this league. And now we have 4 safeties on the roster. Adafio Way traded to the Chargers. What to make of that move? I mean, first off, on the Adafio Way front, we needed pass rush in the first place with Matabike going down. He was really the guy who drove the pass rush. But what are we going to do with 4 safeties on the roster? Well, dime package, there's an obvious answer. You can play one of them at dime. You can play 2 of them at safety. And, of course, the other one could be your slot, your nickel corner. But, yeah, that's a lot of capable, proven players at one position. And then you look at the pass rush, and especially the defensive tackle pass rush, it's barren. So something tells me there's another move to be made here. Of course, they're not trading Starks. He's a rookie first-round pick. They're not trading Hamilton. He just signed a big contract. So all 4 of these guys, if they're capable and up, are going to play. The one move that I would suggest is definitely going to be made is Marlon's going to move back outside. I think that spot that you've seen Chidobe Awuzie play until he got hurt. We saw TJ Tampa start there Sunday at right cornerback and then was moving around as Nate Wiggins was following Nico along the field. I think it's official. Jair, he looks like he's kind of running in quicksand. He does not look 100% healthy. So I think what's going to happen when Marlon gets back is Marlon is going to be opposite Nate Wiggins. You're going to have probably Kyle Hamilton in the slot. And I think Heather asked this question. Heather, I think Kyle Hamilton can play dime linebacker when we do go to dime. But in that base nickel defense where you have two linebackers on the field, I'm not sure how they're going to rotate. So this is going to be super interesting. I've heard people trash Starks this year, and I don't think that he has played poorly. I think that he is one of the few out there with Hamilton who is successfully communicating. You saw that. I gave an example of that on the vault today with the blitzes. But, it's possible that they rest Starks, mix and match. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson can do a ton of things. Gilman's a versatile player. Hamilton is as good as they come. But I think in the end, what this move is meant to do is to get Kyle completely out of the back end of the defense and have him help this pass rush. But that's where we're hurting. That's what the problem is. So we're going to, put Kyle in attack dog mode. He'll be lining up sometimes at outside linebacker, like Heather was suggesting. I think you'll see him in the slot a lot and just move around. They could play a 3-3 defense with Hamilton moving around. Get creative on pass downs. It'll be really interesting to see, though. Like I don't have, normally I'm very opinionated. I don't really know what they're going to do with all this talent at safety. And like I outlined, none of them are getting traded. We just acquired two of them. The other two, Hamilton and Starks, are here to stay. Let's just take a moment and enjoy the title right here. We got 99 problems, but a blitz ain't one. So yeah, did the breakdown on the vault today. CJ Stroud averaged 9 yards per pass play, which is very high. He only had 4 incompletions on the day. He was 23 of 27. He had 4 touchdown passes. Now, when the Ravens brought blitzes, they ran 10 plays in which they ran blitzes. Total of 48 yards gained on those plays, 4.8 yards per play when we blitzed. So again, 9 yards per pass overall, but when we blitzed, that number was down to 4.8 yards per play. We had 2 sacks, could have been 3. The Keon Martin chintzy type offsides was called on that. 2 of Stroud's 4 incompletions came on the blitz. So this goes back, guys. We've been saying it here on the channel for a while. The Ravens finally got aggressive. They finally incorporated more blitzes. And look what happened. They actually had some success. The only success they had against the Texans came when they blitzed. And this is a pattern that we need to see repeated. This has got to be part of our identity. And on top of that, we have to practice the blitz. There's some weak stuff happening. The zones are still a little soft. And when you're blitzing, of course, you're expecting to get to the quarterback quickly. You want the quarterback's usually going to have to get the ball out of his hands. Even if you don't hit the quarterback, you're going to pressure him, rush him, step on his toes. So in cohesion with this blitz, and again, you can watch the breakdown on the vault. I might post that to the channel if I'm sure they would let me do that. But tighter coverage in the back has got to happen in cohesion with this blitz. We got to practice it. We got to make it part of our identity. We've got to be more aggressive going forward. And that really is the key, because the talent on the front just has not been getting home. Our talent is on the back end. Again, I've harped on that, but we finally got to see it in action on Sunday, and it actually worked. It was one of the few things that worked. I see my guy Q the God in here. What's going on, Q the God? It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much. I'm glad you got that gifted membership in there. That's awesome. And Tila with the new profile picture, looking lovely as always. Dwiz is a lucky man. What is going on, Tila? What is going on? It is great to see you guys in here. Brighten my day. Really appreciate that. And Heather, member for 2 months. Okay, I'm catching up, guys. I'm catching up. Are they trying to use Kyle as a linebacker? So, yeah, I expect Kyle to play dime and a lot of that short zone and maybe even some just straight rush attempts, Heather, from the outside. Member for 2 months, my MVP. Heather McCubbin's in here. Also see Kid Blaze giving some shout outs. What is up, man? It's great to see you. Like the profile pic, very creative. Very, very creative. So I'm trying to get back and just see everything. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Next week, by the way, I'm going to invite some people on. We're going to have a fun show. Some other guests and things like that. Oh, and Heather, my goodness. $10 super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, Heather. That is awesome. I'm so glad these things come up at the top so I can see the yellow up there and it gets my attention so I don't miss it. But there's Heather's comment here. I miss Wink Martindale because he was aggressive. You definitely was going to blitz. I believe we need to play faster on defense. Watch our spacing. Yeah, the spacing has got to improve. The anticipation. And that's why I say it's not just enough to blitz, Heather. We've got to practice this thing. We got to do it in practice and get the spacing right between the players in zone. I think when we're playing like cover 2, cover 3, a lot of times the zones are good. We're doing a good job, especially on the outside. Nate does a really nice job with that, passing off zones to Kyle or to Starks. But when we blitz, we have got to tighten up the windows and we've got to plaster our man because you're going to get home. You have to expect the quarterback to get rid of the ball quickly. And if he doesn't, look, you're going to have to live with some big plays allowed. It's kind of funny because with Mike McDonald, we had the correct personnel. We were so well coached. We were so well organized. When you watch the Seattle defense, it's just like, oh, man, that looks like the Ravens defense from 2023. But, with this group, Wink would have a field day because it's right in his wheelhouse of what we need to do to compete. Now, Wink's teams, of course, we had problems tackling. He had his issues, too. He would get too aggressive at times. But, yeah, we could use a little Wink influence on this defense for sure. And Tila says she is the lucky one. I'll bet you are, man. So it seems super cool, man. Definitely seems super cool. All right. Awesome. So let's get to the next topic bar here. In addition to this pass rush, blitzing is one answer, but when you blitz, you still have to. Guys are still going to get blocked. There's still 5 offensive linemen there. You're not going to have a free rusher all the time. It's just going to put extra pressure on those offensive linemen to pick up the blitz. You need to win too. You need to get home with the blitz. And talked about this a little bit, but this is something I'm going to be hammering home from here on out. Is that we really need to give Peebles more of a chance. Now, how are the Ravens using Aeneas Peebles at the moment? They're bringing him into sub rush. So 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, Peebles comes in. But they're on these early downs. The other team does throw on first down. They don't have to run it. There's no rule in the rule book that you can't throw on first down and second down. And on first and second down, we often have 2 nose tackles in the game. We'll have Travis Jones and John Jenkins. Or even if not, we have Urban in the game, Brett Washington. None of these guys in the middle can really rush the passer. That's not their forte. That's not their thing. What we need to do is give Peebles a chance. Now, is he going to be a lockdown run defender? No. And we do have issues stopping the run in the first place. But in the preseason and when he's gotten in there and run downs, Peebles has looked really, really scrappy. He's a fighter. His effort is all there. And he uses his kind of leverage to his advantage, being only 6 foot tall, where he'll get up under these defensive tackles, try to split them, try to get skinny in between them. So he is, I haven't seen him be the liability against the run that everybody thought he was going to be because he was undersized and inexperienced at it coming out of college. But yeah, we have got to get Peebles on the field. Get him on the field on first down. Get him on the field more second down. 2nd and 9, get him out there. If it's a 5-yard rush, okay, but chances are they're going to be passing on 2nd and 9, 2nd and 11. He needs more than 10 snaps a game. We need to get him up into the 20 range, give him a chance to spark this pass rush. And really the Ravens need to trade for a defensive lineman. They need to trade for a pass rusher. The Adafia away move opens up, $7-8 million in cap. So we have the room to acquire, assets if we want. So let's see what the Ravens do. And maybe they dangle out a piece like Mark Andrews to get some kind of help. Who knows? There are guys that we could still trade as well. And I see Heather in here, not 1, not 2, doing the LeBron James. but 3 memberships gifted out. If you got a membership, say hello to MVP Heather McCubbins. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And I see Dario in here selling me on people's. Dario, look, I mean, we're not stopping the run with 2 nose tackles on the field, brother. We're not good against the run in the first place. We have got to find a way to get pressure on the quarterbacks. At least give them a chance. But John Jenkins and Travis Jones aren't getting home by themselves. So why not, Dario? Why not? We have got to, get out of this definition of insanity, mindset that, of course, Coach Harbaugh has. Very, very stubborn. And our old friend has joined the chat. Black Daniels. Love him. Had him on the show once. Miss Black Daniels. I miss you, man. Hope the boy is doing good in his football. Rollsville Rams. Still remember Black Daniels. So get in touch with me. DM me. Do something. Miss you. I'm so happy that you're here, man. So happy that you're here. So yeah, give Peoples a chance. All we are saying is give Peoples a chance. Speaking of changes, I think for the first time Wednesday, and we'll just see if it's all talk at this point when it comes to Harbaugh and making changes and kind of not being loyal and not being stubborn, he has lost all benefit of the doubt when it comes to me, in my opinion. So, before, years ago, well, maybe Harbaugh will do this. No, Jason, he's not going to do it. He's going to stick to his guns if it hurts the team. But he kind of opened the door this week. Will this be the week that they change guards? The changing of the guards, as they say in Britain, the guys with the tall hats. Will this be the week that they make a switch or 2 switches at guards? Because this running game, the run blocking, it's something that I was going to highlight on my channel. I see other content creators, Coach Evans, Cole Jackson, they're all over this, Coach DC. The run blocking is beyond bad. It's whatever word you can think of that's worse than bad. You can say that about our run blocking, and that's what's happening. You have Derrick Henry back there. Lamar Jackson's out, and that really, if it wasn't exposed before Lamar's injury, which, you guys know my opinion on this, the run blocking has been bad. We needed to make a change from Faalele way before this. But we have got to get the running game going. Even when Lamar comes back, we can't do this. Lamar, save us. It's 2nd and 8 again. We need 2 pass plays. Lamar, it's 3rd and 11. Save us. We can't go through this. We have got to get the running game going. Now, do you think Derrick Henry forgot how to get past the line of scrimmage? Do you think his vision just automatically got worse and he doesn't know how to read a blocking scheme? Heck no. Heck no. Henry is just as professional as he ever was. In fact, the more you play this game, the smarter you get. There's nowhere to run. There is no room to run. And we've missed Ronnie last week. Joseph Noteboom, not good. Not good. But the guards are the consistent problem. Really, the only plus run blockers we have on this line are Tyler Linderbaum and Ronnie Stanley. So yeah, it's like I see Kwame's comment just pop up. Long overdue. Will this be the week, though, Kwame? Like, how much confidence do you have that Harbaugh is going to make a change? Ben Cleveland's sitting right there. He's a better run. He was a better run blocker, in my opinion, from the start than either one of these guys. Corey Bullock, dare I even say Carson Vincent? I know they're not going to do it. There are people that will disagree with me and say, look, you leave Carson Vincent alone. You let him develop at left tackle. He's the left tackle of the future, and I get all that, but if they're really trying to pull out all the stops to save the season, I could see Vincent taking over at left guard. He, as far as pass blocking goes, he's not going to be worse than Voorhees. I can tell you that. And then the run block of Vincent moves bodies. So outside the box idea on that, doubt it happens. But yeah. Looking back. I see you guys having a great time in the chat. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Oh, Alex. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Alex? Good seeing you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I'm glad to hear from you. Always appreciate when people check in. Yeah. So will this be the week? I don't know. I'm not confident. I would just like to see at least the Ben Cleveland insertion in one of these guard spots, even if you want to go left guard. Like if Faalele's got immunity from all changes from John Harbaugh, maybe Voorhees doesn't. But man, when you have Derrick Henry, you have got to give him room to run. You got a backup quarterback starting. Run blocking is a key to this game. And this Rams defense is no joke. They have young players all over the defensive front, good players. Not that I'm expecting the Ravens to win this game without Lamar, but if you want to compete, give yourself a chance, try to force the Rams into mistakes. Run the ball, blitz. You blitz, you force them turnovers, get passes, rush throws. Maybe you get to the quarterback a couple of times and make Matthew Stafford feel uncomfortable. Those are all what I'm looking for, not only for this game, but moving forward. Guys talking about some crazy stuff in there. I love it. Oh, hey, prediction from last week that actually happened. And we're going to put it up here again because I think it needs to continue and grow. Remember this banner from last week. Keaton needs to play this week. Well, he did. He was active. Basically, the Ravens had no choice. They needed everybody healthy was dressed for the game. But they did have a choice in whether to give him the ball or not, whether to hand off to him. And they did. Monken used them. We did see two backs in the backfield. Now, were they great plays? No, but I think that this has to continue, especially with Cooper Rush at the quarterback position. And I really hope Tyler Huntley gets a chance. I really hope Tyler Huntley gets a chance. And it goes back to running the ball. Cooper Rush, the one interception was terrible. The other two, I mean, not really his fault, but Tyler Huntley at least gives you the run game, the mobility. It will really hurt the Rams pass rush, I think, if Huntley is there. Because if the Rams lose rush lane integrity, Huntley can take off, gain a few yards. Maybe you sprinkle both in. But yeah, Huntley, Keaton Mitchell, we need all the explosiveness we can get on the ground this week. Like, we're going to be limited through the air. Lamar's arm, it's just been underrated for so long. But Lamar can threaten every part of the field. Short, intermediate, deep, over the middle, sideline to sideline. Lamar can do that. The backup quarterbacks can't. Quite frankly, not all the starters in the NFL can. So if we're going to be limited in the passing game, we're facing an explosive offense. We have got to be explosive in the run game. To me, that starts with Keaton Mitchell getting his carries with Derrick Henry, with Tyler Huntley in the game. Tyler Huntley, a quarterback, Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry standing behind him. Some better run blockers in front of them. And let's see if we can get creative and give the Rams problems. That's what I want to see, especially while Lamar is out. That should be the plan. I think that if we want to win this game, and I see Kwame mentioned the read option. Yeah, man, we have got to pull out all the stops. Heather, I see a question here. Is there anyone out there that may be available for offensive guard help? I would say yes. I would say the problem is teams do not want to give up good offensive linemen. So if you're able to get one on paper, they probably wouldn't be a great player or anything like that. Those players tend to stay with their franchises, at least until they're out of contention. But could you just take a shot on somebody and have them be a better player than what we've been getting from our guards now? Maybe. So I wouldn't completely rule it out. But like when I was on with Sarah and Bobby and that was posed, it's like nobody gives up good offensive linemen. It's very, very tough to do. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. All this talks about spanking in the chat, man. I hope the Ravens don't get spanked on Sunday. I would just like to see a competitive game with a backup quarterback. That's honestly, man, like how far we've fallen. Yeah, I would just like to see that. And Mr. Loop, hey, Mr. Loop, thanks for checking in. Man, I'm really, really impressed. I was sitting, now I don't know this, so maybe you can help me out with this, Steve. But I was sitting in the club level, in the sunny section, as you can tell by my head. And there were 4 or 5 people with Loop jerseys in like rows 1 through 3 in front of me. And I was a little nervous. I didn't want to bother Players fans. I've sat next to CJ Mosley's family before and all that. And I didn't want to be that guy. But I was wondering if you were on there. I was on the Texans sideline in the corner by the Mo end zone. So the one that says Baltimore with the Mo highlighted. So yeah, if you were there, Mr. Loop, that's where I was. I saw some Loop jerseys into the. I don't remember what section, but I just described it. It's in the Baltimore end zone, Texas sideline corner. There was like 4 or 5 people, and they had the 33 jersey in front of me. And I was in row 4, so I was like up a level. But yeah. So you were on the Ravens sideline. Okay. Hey, he looks good. He looks confident. Very, very impressed with Tyler Loop. In a season where nothing is going wrong, and I promise you, Mr. Loop, we'll get this thing together. After all, we are the Baltimore Ravens. We will find solutions. If not next year, then soon. But Tyler Loop, definitely a bright spot in this season. He's looked confident since preseason. Kickoffs look better. Mr. Loop looks like he's got a good feel for that. Long field goals, plenty of leg. Love Tyler Loop, man. And I would say that. I mean, before you even came in the chat, I was saying that. Members only video on it. But yeah, I'm a Tyler Loop fan. And yeah, Bradley Bozeman got benched. Bradley Bozeman, when he played left guard under Roman, looked really good here. Wasn't the best pass blocker, but was one of the best left guards at pulling that we've had. A lot of success with that. So maybe we can bring the pulling back and run some power to the right. I'm not sure, Heather. I'm at this point, I'm ready to exhaust all options. And I hope that Eric DaCosta does, at least for the next few weeks through the bye week. And if things don't get better, at that point, you look at selling off some pieces, some guys who are going to be free agents, see what you can get back. But, I'm always going to lean towards an optimist. Always going to lean towards being an optimist here. So, yeah, we have to exhaust all the options. But Keaton, one last word, Keaton needs to play that as much as he can in this game. And Derrick Henry still get his 20-some touches. We're going to need to run the ball as much as we can and as effectively as we can. So, yeah. Love this. And Tila said she suggested that or said that in Coach's stream. Yeah, I mean, Bozeman was the best. I'm not lying. The best pulling guard we have. There's a clip from years ago on the stream where Bradley Bozeman pulled a crazy number of times and knocked each one. I put them all on a reel. But he was an excellent pulling guard. It just goes to show you, Tila, you don't have to be a great athlete as an offensive lineman to be a good puller. What you need to do is get out of your stance quickly, and it's all about the vision. What do you see? Who do you pick up? But yeah, Bradley Bozeman was an excellent puller for us. It really was. Okay. All right, guys. So that's what we have. I forgot to bring this up, but again, not to beat a dead horse. I hate doing this, but you look at the overall grades, the pass blocking and the run blocking, man. The run blocking. We've got to get that straight. We've got to give King Henry some room to run, especially. But there you go. If you want to screenshot it, take a picture of it, or just read it real quick. I did pull up their PFF stats. Now, PFF stats, not a huge believer in them. I'll be honest. I think that they miss a lot. It doesn't always add up with my grades, but for those who wanted to see it, there you go. Run blocking grades of 50 for both of them. Got to get better. We've got to get better. You owe it to Lamar. You owe it to Derrick Henry to put the best 5 linemen out there. Loyalty is a great quality, but you can't let it get to you. And that's been when Harbaugh's teams have struggled. Think back to the Nick Boyle and playing him after the massive knee injury. Matt Skura, same thing, massive injury coming back. Think about the Tyree Phillips, the Miles Boykins, these guys that they've stuck by. Remember they gave Mark Ingram the first carry of the game every game, even when we drafted J.K. Dobbins, just so Mark could say he was a starter. That's the kind of thing with Harbaugh. Loyalty is a great, great quality, but you have to be loyal to the right thing. You can't be loyal to a person and be loyal to the whole team at the same time. I'm going to say that again. You can't be loyal to one player and be loyal to the team at the same time if that player is struggling. So if you have better guards than the ones that you have now, you owe it to the 53 guys, the guys who are busting their butt to make their way in this league, to start the best guy. That's what loyalty should be about. It should be about to the 53 guys. So rant over. Let's just hope. Let's just hope everything works out. And these changes, they say changes abound. The roster redux. DaCosta's not sitting on his hands. He never does. We'll just see. We'll just have to watch. And that's kind of the fun of football. It's a soap opera. It's like a soap opera for us. Practice report. Okay, so Awuzie is still not practicing. You have to assume that Chidobe Awuzie will be out. Same thing with Marlon. Same thing with Lamar, of course, and same thing with Roquan. The guys that appear to be getting back, Kyle Hamilton, thank goodness, back at practice today, and also Ronnie Stanley back at practice today. So if we get Ronnie and Kyle Hamilton back, that is a great sign. KVN now is taking all his snaps. So a little bit of progress. After the bye week next week, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll have a full cast of characters back and healthy again. So, hey, man, let's just stay into the game until we aren't in the game. That's my best advice. That's the way I'm looking at it. Everybody fans different. That's the way I'm looking at it. For the Rams, they have two kind of major injuries. Guys that should not play this week is their right tackle, Big Rob Havenstein. Good player, heavy-footed player, but he's been with that Rams team for a long time. He hasn't practiced. Tyler Higbee, those of you who play fantasy football, sure you've seen Tyler Higbee on the waiver wire and picked him up a time or two. And their inside linebacker, Omar Spates, high ankle sprain. So they're going to be missing an inside linebacker on defense. They're going to be missing their right tackle and their starting tight end. Those are the Rams' injuries. The rest of the guys are limited. Colby Parkinson, tight end. They have a bunch of tight ends that they run in and out. He has a concussion, so who knows if he's going to be clear. So that is the injury report. And with that, let's look at the team rankings. Now, the Ravens' offense, of course, is all over the place without Lamar. So, these numbers are a little bit deceiving, actually, just because Lamar is, if he's playing, it changes the whole. Not playing, it changes the whole offense. But going to the Rams defense, a lot of green on this Rams defense. This is a good group. You look at, their lowest ranking is pass yards allowed, 18th, but top 10 in sacks. And of course, the Ravens have given up 16 sacks. That seems like a lot. It is a lot. The Rams have 15 sacks themselves on defense. 7 takeaways for the Rams. 7 turnovers for the Ravens. You see all the Rams numbers on defense are pretty good. So even with Lamar, this would be a test. Without Lamar, it's going to be tough sledding. The Rams defense is led by their front four. We'll look at that when we get the matchups. But man, it kind of cracks me up because even with Lamar out for a week, we're still 6th in scoring. Even with that the stinker we put up, the 10 points on Sunday, still 6th in scoring. Still 2nd in yards per pass. Somehow 2nd in yards per carry. There's been that big run by Justice Hill, the Bills game, Lamar scrambles. That all adds up to us being 2nd in yards per carry. One of the more deceiving numbers out there, by the way, but it is the number. The scary part about this Rams team is they're good in the red zone and good on 3rd down. So it's hard they're good on early downs for some 3rd and longs, and they're able to get themselves off the field. And that's something that the Ravens, again, goes back to the running game this week. So it's real tough. See JB in here. What's up, JB? What's up, JB? Hey, Jason, LOL, it was the injury mutiny. It might be, Jeff J. It might be. And I don't like to call for people's jobs to I don't like to call for people to get fired, but major changes are needed. It's change in mindset. I don't know what to say. John Harbaugh's a Hall of Fame coach. Zach Orr was one of my favorite players. Undrafted free agent to all pro, to out with a nasty injury to back. It stinks. It stinks. Q, I'm with you, buddy, but man, you're gonna watch it. You're gonna watch it, Q. You ain't fooling me. And yeah, Mr. Luke bringing it up. Gust up to 35 degrees. Mr. Luke, I know you got the Mr. Yuck face after that, but hey, man, the Ravens are going to need some kind of change. If Mother Nature helps us in this game somehow, I'm down for it, brother. I'm down for it. I'll say, look, give Mr. Luke all the rain and all the wind he can handle because the Ravens need to win this game. So no offense, Mr. Luke. I love you, but I love the Ravens more, and I want them to win this game. So, yeah, that's so funny. Man, Mr. Luke catches my sense of humor. Thanks. Yeah, and of course, I have Taurus, not as forgiving as me. not as forgiving as me. I'm a forgiving person, Taurus. You can be hardcore, which I love you for, by the way. But yeah. And Justin checking in. What's up, Justin? Please get rid of Zach Orr and follow Lele. Zach, man, with Zach, it's just like one of the blitzes he brought like this heavy blitz when it was 3rd and 15. And this is some stuff like that Wink did that blew me away. Now, we were having success with the blitz, but you don't have to rush 6 when it's 3rd and 15. A wide open guy. Of course, we didn't look like practice that particular blitz. 14-yard gain, left to 4th and 1. Of course, the Texans would convert from there. But yeah, man, like the feel for it, man. It's not just the plays, the design of the defense. It's how you're practicing and the feel for it. And some comments from Adafio Way, by the way, today I thought were interesting. I think this is a good time to bring this up, but I don't know if y'all saw this, but he had his introductory press conference into the Chargers. And of course, he said he had, a chip on his shoulder, something to prove. Look, if I got traded, I'd say the same thing. But he alluded to the fact that the Ravens scheme was holding him back. And I think I know what he's alluding to. Now, the Ravens are letting their front four rush plenty. Like Adafio has gotten his pass rush opportunities. Believe me, he's not dropping into coverage all the time. Well, Adafio especially was playing primarily on pass downs. But I think what Adafio Way is alluding to is that the Ravens are asking their edge rushers to contain rush. So like the spin move that we saw from Adafio the last year was really effective. The dip and the burning the edge that we saw from Adafio, that kind of disappeared. The different pass rush moves that it took Adafio, 4 years to develop, they kind of disappeared this year. And I think what Adafio means is they're asking their pass rushers to cage rush, to just straight bull rush, to contain rush, to keep the quarterbacks from rolling out of the pocket. And I think when Adafio said that, it wasn't his exact words, but like the Ravens were holding him back. Now he's got a chance to show what he can do. I think that's what he's alluding to, the rush plan. I think in LA, he'll be able to turn it loose. Maybe he does have success, but that's something else, Justin, with Zach Orr. Like if you're not getting pressure and you're asking the guys to contain rush, I mean, hey, we're playing Joe Flacco. Turn him loose, bro. We're playing, Matt Stafford this week is not a mobile quarterback. Turn him loose. Let him attack. Let him attack. So, yeah, Justin, I'm glad you brought that up because it was a side train of thought there. Okay. That's funny, Chris. That chip won't fall off from sacks. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like Adafio. I like the fact that he's a terrible person, but it would kind of make me feel sick if he went to the Chargers and tore it up. That's just the Ravens fan. And Jeff saying dropping everybody on 3rd and forever didn't work either. Right. Can we get a mix? As the defensive coordinator, it's your job to figure out what your players can do, call the right play at the right time. There's an art to it. It's a lot science. Your scheme is science. Your scheme is math. But there's an art to when you call what. And, I feel like every game, Jeff, we can nitpick. Well, we should have blitzed there. Well, we should have played safe there. We should have done this there. But it's the accumulative effect of all of last year in the first 5 games this year that Zach, I'm not happy with his feel for the game. And yes, Taurus, JK did play for the Chargers. Now he plays for the Denver Broncos. Let's flip it over. Let's hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husbands too, because everybody is getting it out here. The Ravens defense, the Rams offense. The Ravens, let's just say it out loud for therapy. Last in points allowed. They're allowing 35.4 points a game. They have allowed more points than the Ravens 2000 defense did in the entire season. 5 games, averaging 35.4. They're 31st in total yards allowed, 31st in pass yards allowed, 19th in yards per pass allowed, 29th in rush yards allowed. A lot of that's from being behind, but it is what it is. And they're 24th in yards per carry allowed. So it's not just fluke. 3rd down, 27th. Red zone. Opponents are scoring a touchdown in the red zone 76% of the time. More than 3 out of every 4 times the opponent gets in the red zone, they're scoring a touchdown on the Ravens. Only 2 takeaways. Are you serious? Only 2 takeaways this season. That goes back to the blitzing and the sacks. 6. 2 of them from Nnamdi Madubuike. We got 2 on Sunday. Guess how we got them? By blitzing. Should have had a third. Kind of a BS offside penalty. Cost us a third sack on Sunday. So, yeah, and cue the God, terrible. Yeah, that is terrible. Terrible indeed. So, yeah, Kwame, that got me, man. Charles Barkley and the San Antonio women. That's what I always think of when I think of Charles Barkley. That and I am not a role model. Who out there is old enough to remember the Charles Barkley I am not a role model commercials? Because they were pretty cool. And Charles looked pretty bad in those, like the bad guy. It was in a good way. Yeah, terrible. The Ravens, or the Rams offense rather, middle of the pack in scoring, but you see their numbers go from really good, like getting a lot of yards, and that's coming through the air. Yards per pass, fifth in the league, averaging over 8 yards a pass. Pass yards, almost averaging 300 yards a game there, 289.6. You see in their rushing, a little bit down. They're moving the ball through the air. They have not been good in the red zone. So weakness versus weakness there. The Rams having trouble punching it in with their run game. And the Ravens, of course, giving up a touchdown more than 3 out of every 4 trips to the red zone. Stafford does not get sacked much. They don't turn the ball over too much. I think as fans, we've got those of us that have been around a while, kind of know what a Sean McVay offense looks like. Let's look at this defense, though, here. The edge rushers for the Rams, they're awesome. They are awesome. Jared Verse, first-round pick. Someone I was high on, so I'll take credit for that. It was higher than consensus on Jared Verse. That power rush and the stutter steps he takes, and didn't get enough credit for his length and explosiveness coming out of college, showing up. Ronnie Stanley's going to have his hands full on the left side. And then Roger Rosengarten versus Byron Young, a really good player over on the over right tackle. They will mix it up a little bit, but mainly versus over left tackle. What I've seen on tape versus on that rush side. So yeah, our tackles have their hands full. Kobe Turner, you see him highlighted. Pass rushing, 3 tech. So what the Ravens lost in Matabike, the Rams have in Kobe Turner. Poona Ford, their other defensive tackle, he is your run stuffer. So they have a really good variety of young players on that defensive line. That's a strength versus the only place the Ravens are weak on offense is their offensive line. Without Lamar, of course, it's a little bit different story. But Ravens have plenty of skilled players. It's their offensive line that has held them back, and the strength of the Rams defense is on that offensive line. The rest of the Rams defense, there's not a lot of star power. Let's face it. Mentioned that their starting linebacker is out with a high ankle sprain. So Troy Reeder, longtime player, he'll be in there. You got Lamon in there playing linebacker. Kobe Durant. You got Darius Williams, who's bounced around. They like to play Quentin Lee at the nickelback. Good matchup for Isaiah Likely there. Cameron Curl, Cameron Kitches, a pair of cams back at the safety spots. So, the Rams invest in their offense. They have Devontae Adams. They have Puka Nacua. They have Matthew Stafford. Typical Rams MO of just making it work on defense and playing together as a unit. So I think this is a big game for Tyler Linderbaum. That's why he's highlighted. Maybe there'll be a change at guard this week. Don't know. Either way, whoever's at right guard is going to have their hands full with Kobe Turner. And really, I wouldn't be surprised if they line up Poona Ford over Linderbaum and try to get some one-on-one matchups because Ford is a massive human being with a big bull rush. Okay, I see a question in here. Would you expect O-line change upcoming? I know Hard mentions changes coming, so I'm just speculating here. Yeah, Rush, I actually talked about this at the top of the show. Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate that. Harbaugh's kind of left like the benefit of the doubt. I don't give him anymore. He's kind of taken that from me with his decisions over the years that I outlined, from giving Mark Ingram token starts to the game, to the Matt Skura, to the Nick Boyles, to the Tyree Phillips, to the Miles Boykins. So I'm in I'll believe it when I see it mode, but he's kind of brought me back with the comments that you're alluding to. Yes, so we'll see. And Mr. Loop with an interesting comment here. Thanks. Thanks, Mr. Loop. Is there a stat that calls out how many run tackles are made collectively by the front line versus defensive backs? I'd like to see that split. Me too. And you know what? Another one comes to me is average depth of tackle. So, a lot of these linebackers, as you guys know, will rack up tackles, but they're even when they're not doing a great job, like they're retreating and they're playing patty cake with the offensive lineman and they're getting pushed back, but eventually they'll get off the block and make the tackle. Well, it goes down as a tackle, but it's not really a good rep. So, like, they have average depth of target for the receivers and the quarterbacks. Oh, he's completing a high percentage, but his average depth of target, he's only throwing the ball 3.4 yards downfield, averaging. I would like to see that. But yeah, the run support is such an important part of it. And what I've seen, Mr. Loop, on bad defenses, when your defensive line isn't playing well and your linebackers aren't playing well, your safeties are the ones that rack up the tackles. So on your good defenses, unless you have a guy like Kyle Hamilton that you move around and put him in position to make tackles, most teams, like Starks has had games where he's had double-digit tackles. That should never happen. That should never happen. Your free safety should never have double-digit tackles because that means the running back is at least getting to level 2. And when he's at level 2, the linebackers aren't tackling him. Your free safety's coming up and tackling him. So great point there by Mr. Loop. I really appreciate that. Give me a chance to talk on that and also just expressing the philosophy of there. But yeah, that average depth and the length. I see you, Joyce. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. I'm going to get Tila to come in here. Mike M checking in. They have safeties playing 20 yards back. I've noticed it too. A little too deep. Now, the plus of this is, hey, are we giving up big plays? No, we're not. But man, we are getting drained to the tune of 70 yards of play on defense. We've got to be more aggressive, man. And that's what it comes back to coaching, Mike. Comes back to coaching. And Twiz, yeah, we're 1-4. You got to have fun with it. I got it. I totally. And don't let my comments stop you, brother. Do what you want in there. So yeah, likely the reason he's highlighted here is because I would like to see him finally get more involved. He is a mismatch. He's one of our better weapons. You notice the chemistry that Cooper Rush has with Zay Flowers. Not so much with Bateman, not at all with Bateman so far, but he's found ways to get Andrews the ball. I would really like to say this is the starting 12 lineup, but I would really like to see Likely in Andrews' spot over there, and I would like to see more snaps for DeAndre Hopkins. Who else is with me? D-Hop looks great. I mean, I guess they're trying to preserve D-Hop. They don't want to wear him out. They want him ready for the playoffs and all this other stuff that seemed like a great idea the first week of the season. But at this point, man, D-Hop, week after week, making good catches, looks good after the catch. I think the time for preserving people is over. You got to do what you got to do to win this next game. And if you don't win this next game, you got to do what you got to do coming out of the bye to win that game. So yeah, I'm kind of with it. We need more D-Hop. Andrews, I saw his top speed is down. He looks a little bit slow. And of course, the drops and the ball bouncing off his hands. Mark Andrews, all-time great Raven, but it's time for Likely to take over. He is the more explosive player. He's got the better hands. He's got the better catch radius. Likely is great after the catch. It's time to get him that tight end 1 snaps and use D-Hop. The other thing that bothered me about last game, well, I don't say it bothered me, it just disappointed me, is that Tez Walker did not have a snap on offense. And, quite honestly, I wanted to be mad at it, but I almost couldn't be mad at it. And the reason for that is that Cooper Rush is not pushing the ball downfield, man. Like, LaJohntay Wester got 3 snaps on offense, just by comparison. Cooper Rush can hit LaJohntay. LaJohntay can scatter for some yards, but hitting Tez Walker on the bomb really isn't Cooper Rush's thing. So Lamar, with Lamar out, Tez Walker was just relegated to special teams duties. I was a little depressed about that. J-Dub says he doesn't think Likely looks good right yet. He may not be, but hopefully, as the week goes along, maybe this is the week, J-Dub. So I'm gonna hold out hope. Yeah, we like to have fun around here. We do. Please don't let my policing get to you guys. I just like to play the straight-minded, serious guy, the stern dad type. So yeah, but I like when you guys have fun. I appreciate all your support. You make it fun for me. Make it fun for me. I was very skeptical about going on by myself for these, but I'm having a great time with it, and it's because of you guys. I love the fact that Q is back in being active today. Love you, Q. Love you, Q. So next week we're gonna have some guests and we'll have some fun. Some guests that I think that you guys will know and love. So we'll just leave it at that. So that's what we got on the Ravens offense, Rams defense. This Rams defense is tough. Let's just hope for the best on Sunday. And when Lamar comes back after this bye week, we're going to have more fun. For those just tuning in for the first time, we usually go through these breakdowns very, 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 very carefully. But with Lamar out, things just change, man. Like it's really hard to say what's going on. Before we flip it over to the Rams offense, let's look at the team box. Let's look at the box of the Rams. Their box score, concentrating on their offense, you can see the shaded blue. Matthew Stafford leads the league, 1,503 pass yards, 11 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions for Matthew Stafford. Underrated, overrated? Where do you sit on Stafford? How do you think everybody else looks at him? How do you look at him? Properly rated? Matthew Stafford just keeps producing. You can see, man, 11-2, and they aren't little dink and dunks. 8.2 yards per attempt for Matthew Stafford. You see the quarterback rating well north of 100. The running backs, Kyron Williams, RB1, Blake Corum from Michigan, getting some run as well. They are not too afraid to run it. They run that outside zone, of course. Very familiar scheme to the Ravens. It doesn't mean they've been able to stop it. Matabike was a monster against outside zone. I mean, he could penetrate the gaps so quickly, get into the backfield, and disrupt the outside zone. Again, this would be a great week for Peebles to get involved. Peebles is quick enough to shoot the B gap and disrupt an outside zone play. And for those of you who are not familiar with what I'm talking about, the outside zone is when the offensive linemen get out of their stance, turn sideways, and they head towards the sideline. And the running back heads towards the sideline and picks the zone to go in. So the stretch zone, outside zone, wide zone, whatever you want to call it, your quicker defensive linemen tend to do better against that. Whereas the power runs, the straight ahead runs, the quick hitters, that's where you want your big bodies. So give Peebles a chance in this outside zone run scheme. That would be, again, from a coaching standpoint, an adjustment I would make to get some athleticism out there against this Rams team. Also, Puka Nacua setting records. I didn't look this up, but I've seen tweets like he's the fastest to this many catches, the fastest to this many yards, most yards over the first 5 games, most catches over the first 5 games, I think is what he has. He has 52 catches in 5 games for this 3-2 Rams team. So, I mean, man, when we played the Rams, you see December 10th, 2023, what a game that was. Of course, the star of the game was who? Who was the star of that game? Who won it for the Ravens in overtime? Who would like to answer that trivia question the last time we played the Rams? But Puka Nacua had a day at a coming out party that day too. Fingertip catches. Mike McDonald's defense was all over him, and Puka just kept coming through. What a talent he is. And, of course, they added Devontae Adams to the team. So a killer combo there at receiver. And, yes, I see it. Rush in there. Thank you for entertaining my question. It was the Tylan Wallace punt return down the left sideline. Man, yeah, what a game that was. That was the last time the Ravens and the Rams played. It was here in Baltimore. We had the all-purple jerseys on. Tylan loves the purple jerseys. So, yeah, that's pretty funny. That was a great day, December day. During that stretch when, like, the Ravens were just dismantling playoff teams and contenders. Remember the 49ers on Christmas, just going through the NFC West and myrtleizing Seattle, myrtleizing Detroit that year. What a team that 2023 team was. So, yeah. And Mr. Loop, is there a stat for how many of our runs are up the middle versus outside? Maybe where you are a bit predictable up the middle. I could probably pull that. I got to kind of hack into an old scouting tool I used to use for that. But they had runs for that. That's something that I'll try to look up next week. But I think what's happening, Mr. Loop, is that when you look at our guards, down blocking is really the only blocks they can execute successfully, consistently. When you ask our guards to run outside zone, there's penetration in the gaps. When you ask our guards to combo block and climb to level 2, pick up a linebacker, they're not mobile enough to do that. Run screen passes. You see guys running in space with no defender close to them. They can't reach them. So yeah, like there's really not a blocking scheme that fits when you have two guards that really can't move, and that's what's happening now. So yeah, appreciate the question there, Mr. Luke. This line got a block. You darn right, Q. You darn right, and I hope changes are made. But yeah, Josiah, the Haitian sensation, in here. What's the potential asking price for Kayvon Thibodeau of the Giants? I wouldn't know, but one thing that I've learned with these the trades that are made, is that you look at the player and it's always lower than what you think. It's always lower than what you think. So if you think Kayvon Thibodeau, we'd have to give up a 5th-round pick for him, you might be looking at a 7th-round pick. That's kind of how I think. Whatever you think the player is worth, Josiah, just add a couple of rounds to that. It might be a pick swap for all I know. It might be we give up a 6th and get back a 7th or something like that, like we saw in the Adafio Wade trade, player for player with a small pick swap. So yeah, I see people in here, Dwiz, 3rd, 4th rounder. I don't know, man. If you think 3rd and 4th rounder and you're right on with that thing, then he's probably going to go for a 5th or a 6th. That's just what I've learned. And Mr. James checking in. Good evening, everyone. Love you, Mr. James. Best hat in the game. Moonwalking behind him. Love it. Love it. Okay. Last slide of the evening. Let's get to it here. This Ravens defense. We saw the numbers. Changes on defense. Now, for those of you who missed the top of the show, I would highly suggest that you just go back and, if you're interested, to hear what I think about these safeties that are added. I don't know. I flat out do not know. Because when the other team comes out with a tight end and a running back, are we really going to put 4 safeties on the field? Would we really take Trenton Simpson out at linebacker and put a safety in there? That's pretty light. That would be a pretty light philosophy. At this point, nothing would surprise me. The Ravens need to make changes, but this is my best guess at what the Ravens defense will look at on Sunday. And it's uncharted territory for me, man, because usually I have an idea. I've done the study and we got the preseason to go off of. I know who the next man up is at each position. But with this, Tavius Robinson is going to get a lot of snaps. Mike Green's going to continue to get a lot of snaps at edge rusher. What do we do with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who right now is currently on the practice squad still? So let's keep that in mind. That's why I'm giving Gilman the edge over Gardner-Johnson in there. But, man, how do you have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the building and not play him? I think I'm a little bit too big of a fan of CJG or CGJ. Just because I love his attitude. I love the fact that he's a snatch your chain type of player. He's going to get in the head of these talkative receivers, and we need some of that. What we thought Jair was going to bring, Jair's not healthy enough to bring that swag on the field. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will. He'll fly around, hit somebody. And what I like about both Gilman and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is that they can play free safety. They can play strong safety. They can play the nickel. They can be a move piece, a chess piece. Not as great as Kyle Hamilton, of course, but there's that versatility in that safety room. I have no idea. I'm fascinated to see. Q, if you watch the game for nothing else, brother, watch the game to see what we do with these safeties. To me, that's the exciting part. I want to see how we're using all these pieces. Kyle Van Noy back at practice. And you can see on the am I ignoring Mike? Wait a minute. Mike, what's going on? Oh, man, I'm ignoring Mike, but I can't find out what Mike's trying to say. I see a LMAO over there, Mike. What's the better strategy against the Rams? Mike, I'm lost, brother. I'm lost. I'm talking all the strategy I can, man. Bro, I'm flying solo. Don't give me a hard time, guys. I'm flying solo, doing the best job I can. I see my guy Simply in here. What do yo. Yo, what's up, man? What's up, Alex? Great seeing you, man. I love you. Okay. Yeah, dude's a dog. We need an attitude like that. Yeah. And I'm sorry, Mike. I promise I'm not ignoring you, bro. I'm just caught up. Yeah. Bro, Mike, we're cool, bro. We're cool. Relax. Relax, Mike. Nah, I love it. I love you guys. Okay. It was a question about outside zone runs versus inside between the tackles. Yeah. Right now, we're not good at defending either, and we're not good at running either. Um, so our best play right now on offense is a quick hitter. If we just get in the way and let Henry get a full head of steam and he gets a little bit of the crease, he squeeze through, make a linebacker miss. But anything that's slower developing, we're not able to execute. We're just getting beat. We're just getting beat by whoever the opposing defensive lineman is, Mike. So that's a problem. And then on defense, I mean, you saw the rush numbers. We faced all types of different schemes. This week we'll face the McVay outside zone, which again favors the quicker players on the inside, favors the stronger edges. We have the strong edges. Van Noy sets a strong edge. Tavius sets a strong edge. We don't have the quick bodies on the inside. So hopefully that was enough for you there, Mike. I'm sorry. I apologize that we did. And bye, Tila. Love you. Have a good night. So for the Rams, we outlined their injury to Rob Havenstein, their right tackle. They have McClendon in there at right tackle, former fifth-round pick, kind of an unknown guy, hasn't played a ton of football. So if the Ravens are going to get pressure, Kyle Van Noy needs to step up. Tavius, not a natural pass rusher. Tavius gets his sacks with power, with hustle, clean-up sacks, vision. That's Tavius's game, but you're not going to see Tavius do a spin move or have crazy dip and bend around the edge. Tavius is just a hard-charging guy. Kyle Van Noy has the moves, and he can beat McClendon off the right tackle. So that's a matchup that I think favors the Ravens, which is why you see Van Noy and McClendon highlighted there. Aloe Gilman, again, fascinated to see how he plays, where he plays. And I expect when Marlon comes back, I think Marlon's moving to the outside. Nate Wiggins, your outside corner on the left. Marlon, you put him on the right side of the defense. And Kyle Hamilton's your new slot. That's how I kind of see it happening. Now, of course, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is really good at in the slot at nickel. So is Kyle. But I imagine that they're going to use Kyle to spark this pass rush. Kyle might be a stand-up linebacker. Kyle could be at edge. I imagine they're going to try to move Kyle all the way around and let him cause as much havoc as he can, since the pass rush woes that we have can't get pressure with for half the blitz. So I would expect Gilman to be in the back with Starks this game, but who knows? Chauncey Gardner-Johnson burning a hole in my pocket. I would love to see him get a chance. But yeah, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, crazy combo. Tutu Atwell, small receiver, a lot of speed from Tutu. He's a big play guy. And they're going through their problems at tight end. They have two injuries at tight end. Davis Allen is their blocking tight end. I have him there. They also have Terrence Ferguson. He was a tight end out of Oregon, I believe. He's more of the pass catcher. So, yeah. And Josiah, I feel you, bro. He'll be certainly picked on if he plays outside corner. Marlon versus Tampa, Marlon versus Jair, with the way he's looked, I'm not sure. Marlon's going to be on the field, but how do you play four safeties, Josiah? The only way you do that is you put one of them in the slot, or you bench one of them. So that's why I think Marlon's going to go outside. That's the call I'm going to make. That's the only prediction I have right there. Don't lose hope, bro. Don't lose hope. I don't blame you. Like, I'm kind of low on Zach, very low on Zach, but yeah. And Chris using her almighty tongue in there. Great. That's great job. She's very quick-witted. So use that tongue, Chris. Slay them. Okay, so there we have it. The Ravens defense, Trenton Simpson, by the way, looked very good on the blitzes. And could we use Trenton on the outside? Could we use him to spice up the rush? Maybe. Ravens have to get creative again. Did a whole segment on the blitz on the vault today. And I think I'm going to go ahead and screen record that and put it on the channel after this show. So I'll give Sarah and Bobby a heads up and email. But soon after this is done recording, I'm going to upload my film session on the Ravens blitzes from the vault today, because I thought it was really good stuff that I outlined. Get creative. Simpson looked good. Buchanan looked pretty good on the blitzes. We're going to have to heat up CJ Stroud, or we're going to have to heat up Stafford like we did CJ Stroud. Heather, you didn't miss much. You didn't miss much. Bunch of Russia trash talk. Yeah, Mr. Luke, who knows? We have 4 established, very good safeties. And I'm sitting here making the chart. And like I was saying, Mr. Luke, this is the first time where I don't know where to put people. I really don't. There's so much change. We could have a new edge rusher in the building by Sunday. Who knows? But Starks, of course, first round pick, isn't going anywhere. Kyle Hamilton is not going anywhere. And then we just acquired 2 good veteran players, Alohi Gilman, who is on the 53, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who's on the practice squad. That's the only reason I left CGJ out, is because he's on the practice squad. All right. Love you guys. Rush asking, has Chauncey Gardner-Johnson played in the box at all? Yeah, man, he's done it all. He's done it all. So, yeah, the versatility that we have there. Whoa, we don't need a close-up of my red face. Thank you so much to my football family. Love you guys so much. Like you said, next week, bye week, I'm going to be coming at you live from going down the beach going down to Ocean City. But I'm still going to be doing the show. We're going to have some guests on that you guys will recognize and will know and love. We'll talk about where the Ravens stand at the bye week. We will also talk about what other moves are going to be made, because I don't think this is it. We can't just roll with 3 edge rushers. We're going to have to add to the room. Adisa Isaac's going to be coming back kind of soon, but he hasn't even started practicing yet. So by the time Sunday comes, maybe we have a veteran pass rusher who's in shape enough to go play. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we give Trenton Simpson that job. Maybe Kyle rushes the passer a lot. Just don't know. A lot of the Ravens are in flux, man. The Ravens are in flux. So with that, I want to say thank you to my football family. Love my football family. Man, the chat was lit tonight, dare I say. I'm 49, but I'm going to use the word lit this one time. Chat was lit. Love you. The work hobby, yes, that's very fair, Chris. Very fair. I see all the love from everybody. Simply thank you for stopping by. Love you guys. Keep an eye out for that Blitz video. I'm going to put my session with the Vault up on here soon. That's what I'm going to do when I get off of here. But with that, I want to say good night. Thank you to my football family. We'll catch you all next week from down the beach on